Michelle with Treecat here. Thanks for joining me today. I'm thrilled to have you here every Saturday morning, bringing you expert insights, news, commentary on the dynamic world of e-commerce, reselling, and re-commerce with a little fun and energy to start your weekend off. So whether you're a seasoned marketplace seller, entrepreneur, industry professional, or even a side hustle, grab your coffee or drink of choice and settle in, and let's dive into the latest in e-commerce. So what are we talking about today? Well, I got some news and updates. I've got some takeaways from a business conference, a women in business conference that I just recently attended. And I've got a special guest that's going to inspire and motivate you. Trust me. So let's get into it. All right. Well, first of all, Treecat has a blog now. So if you want to check that out, go to blog.treecat.io and you can read all my insights. I only have one article so far, but we're going to post more in the future. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm also posting some thought leadership information on there. If you're tired of like TikTok and Instagram and you want something a little bit more substantial, and I'm happy to accept any, connections. Second piece of news, Treecat is now a signed Windows application. Yay! Which means you're not going to have any more security warnings. We have fast and seamless installation now for Windows, and we're fully compliant with Windows 11. We're excited about that. We should have done this a long time ago, but because we had such a painful experience with our Mac agent, which took us 6 months, by the way, to implement, to get that signed with Apple, we were kind of like, oh, do we want to go through this again with Windows? It took one day. So shout out to Microsoft for being so awesome and so helpful with that whole process. Okay, so next I want to talk about this weekend I went to, or not this weekend, but earlier I went to a women in business conference, and it was really, really cool. And if you have ever wanted to get yourself out of your comfort zone and do something, that was different for you and network with people, I suggest you take that risk, take that opportunity. I learned a lot talking with different women in business, and they had a speaker there. Her name was Ruth Esterling, and she the biggest takeaway from that was she talked about a book that has inspired her by John Maxwell, and she said everything, this is the quote from his book, everything worthwhile is uphill. And that really resonated with me because we live in, such a instant gratification world right now. And so sometimes we don't realize how important it is to persevere and to have patience and to not give up. And a lot of times we do have, a lot of us have these dreams and aspirations, but our habits don't get us where we want to be. So anyways, I thought that was interesting. I might check out the book. It's Intentional Living, Choosing a Life That Matters by John Maxwell. And hey, maybe we can start like a Treecat book club for those of you who want, to kind of dive deeper into like mindset and stuff like that. Okay, so next I want to introduce a special guest, someone that I think will inspire and motivate you, and someone who definitely has uphill habits, right? She's a go-getter, and her name is Anita. And Anita, let's invite Anita to join us, producer. There we go. Hey, Anita. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm good. It is finally breaking sun a little bit here in Rhode Island. And I'm just kind of waiting for some nice weather to come along. So in the meantime, I'm going to probably take my kids to the park or something later. But yeah, it's a nice weekend. I'm happy it's weekend.
Awesome. Well, I wanted to have you on because I found you to be very inspiring to me. You have a day job, you are a mom, and you have a really successful side hustle in reselling. So I was curious about your journey, and I would love to know like how you got started and what's your why? Why do you resell?
Sure. So I first got started on Poshmark. I want to say it was like 2016 maybe. And it was really just for reselling some things that I no longer, they were nice, great condition, just not for me anymore, as opposed to going to a store and then dealing with like, are you taking consignments? I just found that doing it online was easier. And then also with kids, I feel like with kids, they wear something one time, Easter, Christmas, and then someone else can have that. And it's eco-friendly, right? We're not sending these things to a landfill somewhere. And plus, it's like it's kind of become vintage at that point, and a model that it no longer exists. If it was from the last season and it's really cute, somebody else might want to have it. So I
Mhm.
found that it was very slow. I wasn't really committed. It was really truly a side thing. And then earlier this year in February, I found out about Whatnot, which is a auction type platform. And I've never
Right.
done eBay auctions. Like I maybe did it back when it was like first out, and it was like, the cool thing on the market. And then I haven't really done anything like that since. But Whatnot's really cool because there's individual streamers, and some of them are very small time, and they get pallets. They'll run through pallets, or they'll have a curated closet that they have available that they run through, and you can say, "Can you do number 34?" And you can also set a reminder. So ultimately, it's very addicting, though, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
I ended up getting sucked into the world of, all those things. And I started selling on there on lives as well. And it's a hustle though. You're up against these big liquidation companies that are pretty much on there all day long, and they have a huge following, and they're starting things at $1, and those prices
Mm.
go up. And if you're small time, you're trying to flip something for something like $5, and people will come and then they'll leave because they're expecting it to be at that amount that the other people are doing it. So it has its ups and downs, but what I will say is right now it's a great platform for resellers that are on the other markets, the marketplaces will say, to procure
Mhm.
items. Because if you find the right seller that has items that are starting very low, then your margins will be good. And also, really, just to stock up your closet. I was working remote for 3 years, and I'm
Mm.
about to go back into a hybrid model at my new job, my day job, and I'm going to need some office wear, and my weights fluctuated. So I'm like, this place has been great just to grab awesome items. So that has now given me the opportunity to have a lot of inventory to resell on these other platforms, and hence how I found you guys Googling, just to be like, is there an easier way to cross list and manage this, because it's now become like a full-time side hustle. And I just want to make sure I make it as easy as I can for me, but I'm not completely absent from when people send me offers and the shipping aspect. I have 5 stars and I pride myself on that. So
Yeah, me too. That's important. Reputation is very important. I want to know also, Anita, how do you balance it all? It's a lot, right? How do you balance it all?
um,
Family, you know, full-time
yes,
job and your side hustle. Are you waking up at 5
yes.
a.m. like me?
So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a lot. So, I tell my kids and my husband and everybody, I'm like, if I'm on my phone, I'm just, responding to an offer, or I'm relisting. So, using a service like you guys has been immensely helpful because some of that stuff is automated, but I just don't want to miss the offers that come in, or the counter offers, or what have you. As far as like shipping goes, I do that nights and weekends and whenever I can. The goal is to get things out as quickly as possible. So I have a little setup, and I've gotten my little stickers, my tissue paper, my thermal stuff. And then for the shows that I do on Poshmark, I do them after 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So ironically enough, my following is mostly I'm on the East Coast. So last night I did a show from 9:15 to midnight. And most of the people are from your side of the country. So
Earlier.
it's yeah, it's definitely a lot. I am exhausted, but I don't do it to the point where I'm burnt out. So I'll do 1 or 2 shows a week. And I think the key is
Yeah.
consistency, right? On any platform. If you're present, if you're there, responsive, and you have a following that appreciates what you do, and you get your love notes and your feedback and reviews, they will stay a customer because they know your quality is good, and they know that you are going to get things out quickly.
Yeah. So what would you say to someone like you who's working full time, maybe raising kids, wondering, do I really have time to build something like this? Just get
I
started or
Yeah,
have a
I would
plan, have a
say
strategy?
Yeah, I would say it's doable. You have to be organized. So my advice would be like make a list of things like must-haves, need-to-haves, and what have you. So you don't need a thermal printer up front, right? That's something that you can get down the line. You don't need a ring light. You can take pictures in other ways during the day in the right space. But just like look at other people, do some research, check out other shops that have the 5 stars, see how they're taking their pictures. I find Reddit, like Facebook, all these different social platforms have groups of people that are reselling, and just tapping into advice from them. Like people want to help each other out. And the one thing I keep hearing on Whatnot is this space is big enough for all of us. Let's support each other. And I have to say on Whatnot, I've made such a great community of people that I've never met in my life, but predominantly women too. Like
Mhm.
they are just awesome, and they will come in if they can't stay in my show. They'll come in and boost me, which is like
Nice.
$25 though. So they'll put forward money, boost me, which then shoots out my show to anybody that's on, and they automatically join. So we help each other out because the space is large enough for everybody that's in it. And I just think you need to kind of look around, do some research, ask the questions, and just start and just make sure you're organized. So when you do have a sale and you're like, okay, I know to go in the kids bin, right? Even if you have 3 Tupperwares full of clothes, or those are the tops, those are the dresses. Just get some bins and make sure things are protected. And then and put a little bit of a little note, like thank you for your purchase or whatever it is, little touch. People appreciate those little things. They really do. So
They
it is
do.
doable, and you just have to set the time during the week that these 2 hours are going to be to, load some more inventory,
Yeah.
or to package my things. So as long as you have select times that you're going to do these things and you can manage that, then I say do it.
Yeah. Great. So what really inspires me about you is you're really open to new technology, testing out new approaches, trying out new platforms. And I want to know what drives your curiosity and your confidence in doing these things.
I think my role in the real work worlds is probably what drives that. So I'm a product manager by trade in the software world,
Mhm.
and I find that it's just you have to have this innate sense of like looking for new innovation or finding a better way to do things and questioning everything. And is this really what the outcome is that we're driving towards? So having that mindset in my day job helps me be much more assertive in looking for solutions that can work. And this is how entrepreneurs are born, right? Like you probably were born this way. You probably were looking for the very solution that you are now, responsible for introducing to people like myself. So it's really just kind of like I did a Google search and I was like, there has to be an easier way to do this. And I'm willing to try, right? And
Yeah.
saying to myself, like, is this costly? Is this effective? What is this going to look like day to day? Comparing it to other tools and figuring out what's going to work for me because this might not work for someone else. But you have to try. We are in a growth mindset in this time in our lives with technology being so rampant, AI. We have to
Yeah.
think about moving forward and trying things. And then if they fail, you fail fast, just like agile methodology says. So I'm really excited to try new things. And I will say one quick plug. If anybody uses Chat GPT, so
Mhm.
sometimes you get an article that you really can't find like that stock photo because it's vintage or what have you. But their new version, you can actually ask it to put that article of clothing on a model. And it
Yep.
is immensely helpful in moving things out of your closet because now people can visualize it, not just on a
Yes.
mannequin, but they can see it on like a person. It's so
Yeah, and
cool.
I did last week, was it last week or the week before? I did a whole tutorial about that, about how to
Oh,
use
neat.
ChatGPT 4.0
Yep.
to take my photo and put it onto a model. And I was telling it all these different types of models, and it started after a while. So I've trained it now, and after a
Mhm.
while, it started giving me all these different models, like African American, Asian, Latinx, and I was like, cool. Like I love this diversity that it's giving me. So I'm all in with AI. Honestly, I think
Same.
it's a huge for productivity, and it's really making my life a lot easier. Sounds like it's making your life easier too.
It is, yeah, I had these beautiful Vineyard Vines cardigans that were for kids that, they look nice on the hanger, but, like, I don't think they look almost like a woman would wear them. They're really cute with gold buttons, and for
Mhm.
I could not move them for the life of me, and I did not wanna sell them at, like, $6, like, they're nice
Yeah.
quality, so I did. They're on a little girl, a little AI girl, and I sold one of them, and, they look
Nice.
really nice on these fake, these AI images, but
Yeah.
it just helps move product along, so.
That's awesome. So speaking of kids, right? We've got Mother's Day coming up tomorrow. And one thing that I'm really proud of is that my hard work, my persistence with my reselling journey, right? I've been doing this for the last 7 years. And then I started a company that helps other resellers, right? My kids, the takeaway from my kids is they're becoming hard workers. They just graduate. Both of them are just college grad, either in grad school or just graduating from their BA, and they're starting to get out into the workforce. And I think, you know, I'm glad that they've learned some takeaways from me in being a person that's a hard worker and that doesn't give up and that persists. And so, what are things that that you're hoping your kids will take away from your example as a reseller?
That's a good question. So my son is going to be 4. He just wants to play with fire trucks. So I don't think he realizes anything except for mommy's doing a show. That means stay the heck out of the basement, or don't touch the clothes or what have you. So he's not quite getting it. My daughter, on the other hand, she's almost 9 and she's been a little bit more involved. So she'll be like, "Ooh, that's really cute," or "I want that." And I'm like, "The junior's low cut." Like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
So it's funny, just having her like kind of react to the items I get and going through them with me, taking the pictures. She's assisted me in some whatnot shows where she's held up the item or put the stickers on it. So she sees that it's a hustle. She knows that there's a lot of work that goes into it. And I want her to learn like it's okay to try something new. Like one time I had nobody join the show and no sales. And it stinks. You're like, I just,
Okay.
this and I was on talking to myself. Some people say post it where you can't see who's on because you never know. Someone might be watching silently without jumping into the show just to see what you're showing. So you always have to be present and pretending that you have a large audience. So she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, mom, that you didn't sell anything." I'm like, "It's okay, Charlotte." I'm like, "I'll probably, list a little bit more on the other platforms this week and maybe pivot to the kids show because the kids shows, for some reason, everybody buys that stuff." So yeah, she's definitely like following. I think it's mostly, at this point, she's just like, okay, mommy wants to do something, mommy's doing it, and she's making it happen. So I'm hoping that she is gonna do the same thing, and she has been. She's been trying to do comic books. She loves the Dogman series, so she's like, I want to make a comic book, and I'm like, okay, that's awesome. So
Yeah, that is great. I'm so happy to hear that. Well, yeah, that's wonderful. And I don't want to, I want to respect your time here. So I think we're going to wrap it up. But I hope you have a great Mother's Day. And thank
me
you for
too.
being with us. Thank you for inspiring and motivating Treecat and our audience and myself as well. And I look forward to connecting with you on LinkedIn. So reach
Thank you
out.
so much. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I
Yeah,
appreciate
and
it.
check
Have a
out
great day.
Anita's Whatnot. It's a dude on Island Time, right? Is that the
Yeah,
handle
it
on there?
doesn't have the spaces, but,
Okay.
I just did that so you can read it on here, but it's
Yeah.
just one word, and then, yeah, so and then I think I mentioned my Instagram on there, which you can then see my other platforms because I know they're all finicky about mentioning. So,
Mhm.
yeah, you can follow me on my Instagram page as well. So,
Awesome. All right,
thank
Anita, well,
you.
you have a good one. And for everybody else out there, mahalo. We'll see you next week.